Hi everybody, Judy Tuttle here from Tuttle Up Stamping. I'm in Midland, Texas. It's a beautiful, warm, sunny day. I love the sun. I love the sunshine. We'd had a lot of rain over the last 2 weeks, and that was kind of getting on my nerves. So thanks for joining me today. I'm on day 2, and we're only having 2 days of Facebook Lives this week because we are offering a special type of class this week that we haven't offered before. So I want to tell you about that here in just a minute. But to start with, let's do some announcements that I feel like I need to discuss with you. When you come on, let me know you're here. Say hello over off to the side and say, hi, I'm Susie from Wisconsin, or whatever you want to do. I would love that. I love it when people find connections here on my Tuttle Up Stamping Facebook Live. So I'm excited for you guys and to build community here, because that's what the name Tuttle Up is all about. So, all right. So first things first, blah, 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 Judy, right? First things first, free shipping was announced yesterday to all of us. We don't really get much of a heads up on this, but for 3 days only, starting tomorrow, you get free shipping on all orders. Hi, Sharon. Thanks for joining me today. On all orders of $75 or more. So that saves you 11% off your order, because that's how much shipping is usually added. But that also means that you get those rewards, right? All those things that come with placing orders of any size more than $20. But to get free shipping, you have to get $75. So here is my offer to kind of sweeten the deal a little bit. If you place an order that qualifies for free shipping, I am going to gift you double the rewards. Okay, so if you place a $75 order, you will get $750 in rewards, and I will match that $750 in rewards. Plus, I'm going to send you 10 cards out of my stash, okay? So think about shopping with me during free shipping tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday, and I would love to have your orders, and I'm very close to a big goal, so I would really love it if I could come on Monday and say that you guys helped me reach. It's not the Alaska trip goal, although I'm going to get there pretty soon. It's a sales goal, and I'll tell you about it if I reach it on Monday, okay? So there you go with that. Free shipping, matched rewards from me, and 10 cards for my stash I will send to you if you place a qualifying order that qualifies for free shipping, which is $75 or more, okay? I hope that makes sense to you. Okay, so next, I have a class coming up that I'm really excited about. It is a Creating for Christ card class that they offer, but I am matching it because my customers often say, I would love it if you would put together one of these classes that are faith-based classes, right? So this one is called Your God's Masterpiece. It uses the gallery, beautiful gallery blooms bundle, and lots of beautiful papers. It is 6 cards and a frame decor item. I will make sure I put the link to that up in the description after this video is over, because that is a class you want to get your hands on for sure. Okay. And last but not least, our class for the week, our online class for this week is amazing. We're doing it a little bit differently in that we are providing the product, not only the card bases and cardstock, but also the two-toned cardstock and an embossing folder with this class included in the price, okay? So I'm going to take this screen off, and I'm just going to show you everything on my hands here, okay? All right, so we are using this week the Label Me Grateful stamp set and die bundle. It's $39.50. It's an online exclusive. Don't overlook this set because it makes gorgeous cards, which I hope is what I'm going to show you. This is not included in the class, but you can add it on, or if you already own it, good for you. You're even in better shape, okay? What we are including in the class this week is this beautiful amazing sunflower embossing folder. So great. I'm going to show you the cards we made yesterday and then use it again today on today's cards. It is currently unavailable, but I had pre-bought some for another thing I was doing, so I have several on hand, okay? So this is the star of the show, really, is this beautiful, and look how big it is. It's one of the large ones. It is 6 by 9, 8.5, 6 by 8.5. So you could do a whole half sheet of paper at once in there, right? Also included is a half a roll of this white woven ribbon. So easy to work with. It can be dyed if you want it to into different colors. We're just using it white on our projects today. You will get a whole pack of these shimmer ribbons, and mine have been through it here, but you will get a whole unopened pack of these gems. They are called the Charming Shimmer Faceted Dots. You get some petal pink, some petunia pop, and some secret sea in the colors there, but you can see they blend and work with all kinds of colors. Charming Shimmer Dots, you get a whole packet of that, and you get a half a pack of our Celebrate Together two-tone cardstock. Okay, you get Daffodil Delight, Strawberry Slush, Pool Party, Cloud Cover, Blackberry Bliss, and okay, help me out, Fresh Freesia are the colors in this assortment. Okay, hi Chris, thanks for coming back today. I love that. Okay, so this is what you get right in the class to go for this week. It's included plus everything to make each of the cards that we are presenting you this week. So let me show you. Oh, and I forgot about the PDF. You get a full color, all the instructions. Sometimes we just do recipe cards. This week we're doing a full color PDF of everything that we are making. Okay, so here we go. These are our two cards from yesterday. Aren't they so pretty? This one used that Daffodil Delight two-tone, and we sanded it to expose the white core. I used the darker side of the two-tone for this one. Hi, Bill. Thanks for coming back. And we sanded it with a block and added some of those beautiful flowers. And these flowers, here's something about these dies. Let me bring that back out here real quick. They kind of span the holiday. So you get some leaves that look like a little more fall leaves. You get some berries here. You get some acorns right there on that sprig. This could easily be a poinsettia or the flowers that we're using. Some sprigs, some nice elements there. Okay, so here's our first card we made yesterday. You are appreciated. It says thank you on the inside. Very simple. In the background here, we used the birch tree embossing folder. I don't know if you can see that here. Let's see if I can catch it just the right way. It's going to be silly with me, but there's that birch tree embossing folder behind there. And it really is a beautiful embossing folder. And if you already have the sunflower, we can substitute out another embossing folder for you in your kit to go. No, that's the second day in a row I've sneezed during my Facebook Live. Must be something in the air. And then this is the second card that we made. This uses the cloud cover two-tone cardstock. And then we also embossed and fussy cut out one of the flowers from the embossing folder. There's so much texture on this card. It's so pretty. And on this one, we used all those petal pink shimmer dots there. So pretty, so simple, but also elegant. Anyone in your life, a little kindness makes a big difference is what it says on the inside. Okay, so let's tunnel up and get started on our cards for today, the last two. So here is our card for today. So grateful for that heart of yours. Isn't that a great sentiment? I loved that last week. I may have said that in my thank you cards for the people who helped me with my flood relief um, fundraiser I was doing last week, and I was so grateful for all the hearts that helped me out with that. I know others of you reached out and said you'd already given, or you just can't do it right now. But either way, I just hope that you're praying for the victims of the floods, not only in Texas, but in Ruidosa and other places across the southern half of the state. Uh, so grateful for that heart of yours, and inside it says you're the best. So let's get started on this card. This is a fun technique with the two-tone cardstock there, and we're going to get started. So we are starting with a piece of Lost Lagoon, cut 5.5 by 8.5 and scored down the middle at 4.25. Okay, and then I have a panel. Actually, you're going to need two panels of basic white that are 4 by 5.25, and I'm going to pull out my two-tone cardstock here, and I used the darker sides of these. Let's see, there we go, the darker sides, there we go. And what we're going to do first with these 3 panels is we're going to expose that white core. So I'm just going to tear a little bit of an edge off of this two-tone cardstock. That is one of the qualities. That's why when we sand it, you can get that white core popping out there. Okay, so there we go. What I love about the two-tone cardstock is that it's lighter weight than cardstock, but a little heavier than your regular DSP. So I'm just cutting just a tiny little edge here, right, off of this two-toned cardstock here. If you guys hear Rory barking in the background, it's because she's been naughty today, and I put her out in the backyard. We have a covered patio with a fan, so it's a little warm, but she's fine. She was naughty. I just got a new pair of sandals that I loved, and guess what? I left the door open to our closet, which is partially my fault, but partially her fault, and she chewed them. So mad about that. So she's outside thinking about what she's done. And Jim will be home any second to let her in. He'll probably be, why are you being so mean to Rory? But she knew it too, because as soon as I walked in with that chew in my hand, she was like, oh no, I've been caught. Okay, so I'm laying these 3 two-tone cardstock panels inside my embossing folder, and I'm going to run this through all at one time. Okay, so I have my die cutting machine off to the side here. I'm going to run it back and forth and get some great embossing on these pieces. This embossing folder really is quite stunning. So there's the first one. Isn't that fun? And here's the second piece, the pool party, and then here is the strawberry slush. Okay? All right, so I'm going to add some glue to my white panel here. I'm going to add it going all the way across, and I'm using Seal Plus, and I want to get a good coverage, so I'm kind of just making a box right here. And the reason why I feel like I need to do even more in here is because of the way I'm layering it. Okay, so I'm going to start with my strawberry slush piece. I'm going to lay it here, centered top to bottom, and with that torn edge right on the very edge of that cardstock. Okay, now I'm going to add my layer of pool party, and I'm going to overlap it just slightly. There we go. Each of these pieces were 1.5 by 5 by 5. and an eighth. 1.5 by 5 and an eighth. It's all in the PDF you get when you want to get the kit to go. We take care of you, right? Okay. So there we go. There's my 3 panels. That's a little, let me move this one up just a slightest bit here. It's going down a little bit more than I wanted to. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now this panel is going to get popped up on here, but I want to put my ribbon around it. Okay, so I'm going to grab my white ribbon, and for this one, I'm going to do a slider bow. Okay, so I'm going to just wrap my ribbon around here, and it makes it easy on this card because I wanted to get that bow placed right next to where that label is. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go this way. Sharon, I'm going to get to spend some time with your upline in a couple of weeks. Well, maybe more like 5 weeks. We're going to Lansing for a leadership conference that Rhonda Wade is hosting in Lansing, Michigan. And I just found out that we're riding from the airport together, so that'll be fun. I'm going to cut this a little bit more right here. Okay, so I wrapped my ribbon around and just secured it on either side there. And now I'm going to take my dimensional backings off and then just place this on my card front. Okay, right, center it right like that. All right, there we go. So now I have a label here, and I'm going to stamp in Memento Black ink. So grateful for that heart of yours. Kind of a little closer to the top than the center. And the reason for that is because I want to leave room for my flowers and sprigs at the bottom. So grateful for that heart of yours right there. And then I've got a couple of sprigs that I've cut out of that Lost Lagoon paper. And I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the leaves right here. Boop and boop. This one's going to go this way. Again, I cut this out of Lost Lagoon. And now this side over here. So I'm excited about free shipping. I have a lot of stuff just sitting for me, waiting in my cart. And I'm excited that I can save a lot of money with the shipping on that order. So plus, as a demonstrator, you know, we get a discount and we get the same rewards that you guys do. So double bonus for us, right? That'll be super fun. One of the perks of being on a team. Okay, so I've got my shimmer dots here. If you would like more information about that, I would be happy to talk to you about joining a team and what benefits you with that. I have a feeling they might have a joining special soon. So I'm taking 3 of these Secret Sea dots right here. Isn't it so? Hi, Carolyn. I'm so glad you're here. The Secret Sea faceted dots, I put 3 of them in the center right there. And this is going to get popped up right here on this side. And you're like, wait, you haven't put the bow on it yet. Just hang with me here. It's coming. So I'm going to add some dimensionals to the back of my label. This is still card number 1. So if you're just popping in, you haven't missed a lot. And you can go back and watch it on replay anytime. But it's really important, if you think you're not going to watch it for a while, to go onto YouTube and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because YouTube will keep our videos forever, whereas Facebook has started deleting them after 30 days. So if you want to be able to go back and reference a card that I've made, being a subscriber to my YouTube channel, which is absolutely free, of course, you just say like and subscribe, right? Then you know that they'll always be available there for you. Okay, so I'm taking my ribbon and I'm just feeding it underneath the ribbon that I placed around that panel there. And the nice thing about this kind of bow is that you can slide it exactly where you want it. So I'm going to tie my bow just like I always do. Right over left, pull, and then loop around and inside the hole. There we go. Whoop, there we go. I'm going to straighten this out just a little bit there. There we go. All right, and then look, the cool thing is, see how that slides? So I can slide it right to where I want it to be on the card, which is going to be right there. This is doing a weird twisty thing here, so let's see if I can get this figured out. There we go. Okay, so super excited about free shipping tomorrow because that means I'm going to save lots of money. There we go. So there's the front of our card done. Now for the inside, we kept this one very simple. Okay, we have our white panel and we're just stamping You're the Best. And I'm going to use Memento Black again. And stamp it right here in the bottom right corner and adhere it to the inside of the card. And that is card number 2. So that is, card number 1 on day 2 is what I should say. We did 2 cards yesterday, 2 cards today. This week's kit, you're going to get 8 cards, half a pack of the 2-tone cardstock, a full pack of of gems, and half a roll of ribbon, and that awesome sunflower embossing folder. So this is our first card for today. All right, so. Oh no, you're in a cast. That's terrible, Sharon. Sorry about that. That kind of stinks, doesn't it? Okay, so now the last card of the 4, last but not least. It's a little bit of a fun fold, but a pretty simple fun fold. Nothing too elaborate, but I love, love, love the colors on this card. So this is our last card of the series this week. And this is A Little Kindness Makes a Big Difference. I love that sentiment, don't you? And it's so true, right? It doesn't take much. And then inside it says, "You're so appreciated." So this uses a piece of Secret C. Now, I originally cut it 5.5 by 8.5, but then it scored down the middle at 4 1/4, but then I cut 1 inch off one edge, and so you get, it's kind of hard to see here. Let me put something white underneath it here. You get an edge that is 1 inch shorter than on one side than the other. Okay, so let me grab my bone folder here. And this is Secret C, 7.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then it's 8. Okay, let's try the 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and then cut an inch off one edge. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the inside of my card because I think it'll help me with how I'm going to. Let me turn this the other way. Didn't like the edge on that fold there. Okay, and I'm going to stamp on the inside, "You are so appreciated," in Secret C. And then while I have the Secret C out, I might go ahead and stamp my label. So it's going to go a little higher here on the inside of my card because we don't want it to show down here at the bottom. So there's that. And then I'm going to grab my basic beige. Now, basic beige is a color all of us were a little skeptical about when we first saw it. We're like, that's kind of an interesting color, but I tell you what, I use it a lot, so it must not be that weird, right? It's just a nice, not vanilla-y, not crumb cake. It's kind of in the middle. So a little difference, a little kindness makes a big difference. So that one's going to sit right there. Okay. Now, I have a piece of petunia pop that is cut 3 1/8, 3 3/8 by 5 1/8. And so it gives us just a very tiny little edge around the top flap of that card. I'm going to grab my scissors, and I've already done it a little bit, but I just roughed up the edges. So I grabbed my paper snips here and just kind of roughed my edges up, okay? Like that. So I'd already done it a little bit, so I'm just showing you again. And then this is going to get attached right here on this top flap. So I'm going to have a fun weekend. I'm going to go to Dallas, well, Grapevine actually, and go to a stamping retreat where I'm going to get pampered for a change with some friends. We're meeting up there. It's going to be super fun. My friend Amy Story is hosting the event with another demonstrator, Denise Sullivan, and it's going to be fun. I'm excited about it. Lots of shopping and good food too, right? Okay, so here is that fresh freesia two-toned cardstock, okay? I love it. A little thinner, gives a really good impression, the two-tone cardstock does, and I've already run it through that sunflower embossing folder. So now, what we're going to do is I have some white craft ink in my spot here. I could not put my hands on my white craft ink pad. It's got to be in one of my bins of one of my classes that's on my desk over here. But I filled it with white craft ink on a spot, and I'm just going to pull it. Look at this. I really like this technique best with a spot because I feel like you can really get in all those crevices really nice. And so see how it just highlights those leaves and those petals on those sunflowers, the center, just a beautiful effect. And you can do this on regular cardstock too, but I feel like it is really nice on the two-tone because I just feel like it soaks it up a little bit better, it highlights it a little bit better, and it just makes isn't that gorgeous? Ah. All right, so now it does take a second or two to dry, so it's okay. It's going to dry on us before we put it on our card. This is the piece that I cut off the front. It was 1 inch by 5 1/2, but I cut it down to 3/4 by 5 1/4. Okay, and I'm going to add some Seal Plus down the middle of it here, and I'm just going to add it right here to the edge of this card. And it looks like I need to cut a little bit of excess. I always like to err on the side of having it too long than too short, right? Okay, so I'm going to press that down. Okay, I'm going to grab my ribbon and wrap it around. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm just going to wrap it around the edges here. I'm going to make sure it's centered on that secret C on the front. And wrap it right there and right there. Now let's see how I did. A little high right there. So let's pull this off and go a little bit further down. There we go. All right, cut off the excess. Now this is going to get popped up right here on the front panel with dimensionals. So I'm going to grab my dimensionals. We sell white craft and an uninked ink pad with a white craft refill bottle. Yes, Sharon, we do. Something to add to your cart for your free shipping tomorrow, right? And I love it. I've used it. It's great for embossing in white. It just gives a little bit of a richer appearance to the white, I feel like. And there are a lot of, here is an example of last week where I used it to highlight the sailboat in the Sunrise Sailing Bundle folder. So, yep, just look for white craft ink and you will find it. All right. Here we go. This is going to get adhered right on the inside here of that petunia pop. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and add this panel to the inside. I think it's going to kind of help me decide where to put my label. There. Okay, here we go. Right, like that. Nice and straight. Okay. Now, this is going to get popped up right here on the front. And I have to tell you what the important thing here is that you don't get dimensionals on this. Hi, Lisa. Thanks. I'm glad you like it. You don't want dimensionals underneath this part of the label right here, okay? So I'm going to add a couple of my dimensionals right here on this edge right here. So then I know I don't want to go any further down than that. And then this one, I'm going to add 2 up here at the top and then 1 kind of in the middle right here. And I feel like between these 5, it's going to hold that label really nicely where I want it on that card base, okay? So I want it to hang over a little bit onto the white right here, okay? But I didn't want dimensionals too far down because I don't want them to show on the other side. Does that make sense? Okay. It's okay, Lisa. I came on a little earlier today than I normally do, it's understandable. All right. So now I am going to grab some of those die cuts, okay? So I cut 2 old olive leaves out of the die cuts from the Label Me Grateful and 2 petunia pop berries here, okay? And let's start tucking these in. So these, I almost glued that on the wrong side. That would have been bad. Adding a little glue just to the bottom here of these leaves. And this one is going to get tucked in right here. You don't want it to hang off the edge of the card, so be careful about that. But I want it as far out as I can get it without it hanging off the edge of the card. So right there looks good to me. A second one is going to go down here at the bottom, and it's okay if it hangs over the edge a little bit. You just don't want glue to hang over the edge. So this one is going to get pushed in about right there. Pretty, huh? And then my berries are going to get tucked in right there over the leaves. I'm adding just a tiny bit of glue, tucking it in. You don't want it to go off the edge, so be careful about that. There we go. And one more. All right. Right, like that. Perfect. Now all I have to do is add my bow. So I'm going to grab a piece of that ribbon and do what I did last time. Just feed it underneath here. It's going to allow me to get close to that label and those leaves without having to tie it and get it, because I can move it, right? Okay, so here we go. Here's my little bow on the front. Slide it kind of wherever I want it there. Okay, and then I'm going to add on some of my gems. Thank you. Isn't it so pretty? I do love this one a lot. So I'm going to add a couple of those secret seed gems down here. Got one up here kind of off the label. There we go. There's card number 4. So isn't that pretty? So fun. Okay, so let me show you all 4 projects here. Here's the 4th one. And this is what you get, you guys. This is what you get in your kit, is enough product and that sunflower embossing folder to make all 8 cards. 2 each of 4 designs. So there you go. Isn't it so pretty? I love these projects. I hope you love them too. I will put the link if you would like to reserve your kit to go for this week. I'll put a link in the description of this, as well as the link for the You Are God's Masterpiece class that I have coming up, as well as the Tuttle Up shop right there. And if you would like to be a part of my email list, I would love to have you join that list, okay? Isn't it so pretty? Do you like it, Carolyn? I hope you like it. Hi, Christine. Tina, I'm a little early today. I have a Zoom meeting at noon, so thanks for coming. And yeah, watch the replay. That's the beauty of the technology, okay? So thank you guys for your support. Please show me the love and the likes and the shares and all of those things that helps my business thrive. So thank you. God bless. And I might be coming on with a couple of little short videos this week, but look what, anyway, never mind. Had a squirrel moment there. So anyway, God bless, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.